This episode is brought to you by LifeLock. When you visit the doctor, you probably hand over your insurance, your ID, and contact details. It's just one of the many places that has your personal info. And if any of them accidentally expose it, you could be at risk for identity theft. LifeLock monitors millions of data points a second. If you become a victim, they'll fix it, guaranteed, or your money back. Save up to 40% your first year at lifelock.com/podcast. Terms apply.
What's up? It's Pink Noise. We are here talking about Human Equals Kind, and you are listening to the Brutally Delicious podcast.
A brutally delicious podcast.
Beef Carpaccio.
This is 70,000 Tons of Metal, the original but world's biggest heavy metal cruise. 60 bands, 4 days, 1 cruise ship, only 3,000 tickets. It's like having an all-access backstage pass. January 29th to February 2nd, 2026. From Miami, Florida to Nassau, the Bahamas, and back. 70,000 tons of metal. What are you doing next winter?
I'm doing great. I'm
Where are you?
just setting my phone up.
Excellent. Where are you located geographically?
Geographically, at the moment, I am located in Tucson, Arizona, way in the
Nice.
middle of nowhere.
I heard Tucson's pretty nice, though. It's one of those places I want to get out to at some point.
It's pretty nice. It's the weather's kind of dry and hot, so
Right.
if you like that, then it's not too bad. But there's some sights to be seen here, and
Yeah.
we've got a pretty good local scene when it comes to music. So those are positive aspects for
Yeah, absolutely.
for sure.
All right, so let's just jump in. Thank you again. Thank you for taking the time.
Yeah, of course.
I guess one of the things about doing this show I like is coming across new music that I would not have ever heard of or stuff like that. So, Pink Noise, for those in my same shoes who have not heard of you, can you give us like the 2-sentence boardroom elevator pitch or whatever?
Yeah, I would say that I'm a pretty unifying rock and metal artist. I mean, I think that I'd like to span across genres, and I like to do something that's a little outside of the box and something that maybe people don't expect from me. So I grew up listening to R&B and pop music, a lot of EDM, and a lot of heavier music, and this is kind of just the culmination of all of those things over the years.
Okay. And now that the EP is done and singles are out, I guess it's still about to drop, right? What, another week or two?
Oh no, it's out. It
Oh, the
just
full
came
EP is
out
out.
this
Sorry.
last Friday. No, that's
Okay.
okay. Yeah, it just dropped on Friday,
What's the
and
response to it so far? Has it been pretty good?
it's been amazing. It's been like such a long time coming for me to put out this EP, so it's really nice that people are receiving it the way I intended. And I think that there's just a lot of things to take away from the EP. So I think it means a lot that people are being so kind and saying so many kind things about it.
Okay, great. I know you've built like a really powerful community in a pretty short amount of time. What's one fan interaction or message that's completely stuck with you and reminded you why you create music?
Oh man, that's a really good question. There are lots, honestly, but I think like one of the times I was taken aback the most was probably I got a message, and I've gotten a few of these types of messages over the last year. There was a guy that followed me, and he sent me a long message saying hey, I just want to let you know that what you're doing is really changing the way that some people think. He said he grew up in a you know a Christian nationalist lens, right? He was
Right.
kind of looking through life like that, and he said, before I heard your music, I never would have given you the time of day. And he said, and obviously this is it, it's crazy to think about, right? Like that somebody would be like, yeah, I don't want to interact with you just because of the way that I look, or maybe like there's, some premeditated stereotypes
Hmm.
looking at me, right? And he said, I heard your voice and realized that you had a God-given talent, and that maybe I needed to change my outlook on my judgment that I cast on people,
Oh wow, that's
before
heavy.
even before even getting to talk to them. So he said that I definitely changed his point of view when it comes to people in the LGBTQIA plus community, and that just meant a lot. It was really heavy. Obviously, it starts out like, "Hey, I would have never given you the time of day," and then you're like, "Huh?" And then you finish reading it and you realize how powerful that really is. That somebody was moved by your music so much that they feel like they have to go reassess maybe some things that they could be more kind about. So that was just really cool.
Okay. I think that's pretty heavy as well. So, I mean,
Yeah.
that's thinking that music has that sort of power to, affect people and change people. If you could pick one non-Pink Noise song that perfectly describes the energy of human equals kind, what would it be and why?
Oh, wow.
Sorry, I like to be a little outside the
No,
box.
it's okay. That's a really good question. I really like that question. You know, there's so many songs that I have used as the soundtrack of my life, but I think you know, kind of that sums up like the human equals kind, like um experience for me is a lot of it is about loss, and it's about like, turning a negative into a positive, even
Hmm.
though a lot of it is like surrounded by pain, and you've, maybe lost some friendships or some relationships that you thought were more solid. It's just taking all of that pain and growing from it. So I think I would probably say R.I.P. by Bring Me the Horizon. It's
Oh,
uh
nice.
it's it's kind of laying the past to rest, and it's saying, like we had some good times, but like it's time it's time to move on, and it's time to lay everything to rest, and
I think that,
R.I.P.
yeah, no, I think that same pain you're talking about, or that, that certain something in your gut is what makes music organic and relatable
Mhm.
in the end, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. So, can we get a little deeper?
Yeah, of course.
All right, let's see. Let's see, landmine, born out of a feeling of feeling isolated as a non-binary person. If alienation were not just an emotion, but a physical place you had to walk through, what would it feel and look like? And how does your music act as a map for it?
I think that alienation to me is like it's like walking through a wasteland where there's just so many death traps. I think like being isolated feels like it's never ending, like emptiness. It just feels grim. I think that my music acts as a map for that, um, because it allows me to express, whether anyone's listening or not. It allows me to feel less alone. It's like when I pour myself into the music, I forget all of the things that are bothering me, that are, you know the reason that I'm writing the music. I think if you do music for anything other than to to survive for yourself, then it's never going to come out the way that you want, right? And I think for me, it's a flotation device in all of the negativity that you could build up in your life. It's something that keeps me alive.
Okay. So you combine a lot of genres, and metalcore and djent are often associated with aggression and toughness. But your approach redefines the heaviness by weaving, I think, a certain vulnerability and some pop accessibility to it as well, right? Do you think the
Yeah.
future of heavy metal or heavy music might be less about distortion and more about emotional honesty?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I think obviously I love heaviness just as much as the next person that listens to, any
Right.
sort of like metal subgenre. But I think it should be less about how many sounds can I make and how many like breakdowns can I throw in it, but more about like what does each part of this song mean and how is it like how is the music laying the foundation for all of the lyrics you put on top of it. And I think what I want my music to do that's a little bit different than a lot of artists that are in the scene is I want it to build a story
Right.
every single time that I write a song. I want you to not only obviously lyrics are a way for you to express the like what you want to get across in the song, but I want you to hear it that same way musically
Right.
before you hear any of the lyrics. And that's kind of that's how I want to hear music, right? I want to hear every single peak and valley and I want to feel that push and pull with the lyrical content.
Fair enough. And with the audience as well, right?
Absolutely.
Okay. Now that your EP's out, what's your dream tour lineup? Any artist or genre? Any artist in any genre, living or gone, that you'd like to share the stage with?
Oh yeah, there's tons. I mean, I think probably the biggest influence of mine is Linkin Park. I grew up listening to Linkin Park, and that was the first CD I ever owned was Hybrid Theory. I made my parents go buy it for me. I was probably like 7 or 8 years old, and I was like, I really want this CD, and bought it with my own money. So um, yeah, I Linkin Park would be amazing. Bring Me the Horizon, Bad Omens, Sleep Token. I mean, like these are just incredible artists who are doing it right now that I just feel are so innovative in their sound, and that inspires me so much. Bill Murray would be awesome. I think the tour lineup I would pick for me would be like Bring Me the Horizon, Bill Murray. I really like this band called Windwalkers. They're incredible. And Trevor's been a friend of mine. He's the vocalist for like 3.5 years.
Mhm.
And he's just an incredible vocalist. I mean, like they're just crushing it right now. And then probably Pink Noise. Yeah, just opening the show up and doing some crazy, crazy stuff.
Okay. And speaking of touring, then what's next for you? Are you going to be taking this on the road?
Absolutely. I think for Pink Noise, it has to make sense. I really want to build the foundation for like touring before I go tour.
Hmm.
And I think that so far that has been working really well. But yes, we will definitely be planning some shows and tours for 2026. It's very exciting stuff. We've been talking to a booking agency that is really interested in us, and I just want to go out and connect with people. Really, like I want to play shows that make the most sense, and I want to find the right place to do these shows for the fans.
Okay. And if fans want to find you, are you pretty active social media wise? Can you give us all your links and that sort of stuff?
Absolutely, yeah. It's at Pinkish Noise on TikTok and Instagram. And it's just I think on X it's sort of Pink Noise and Facebook is just Pink Noise. So everywhere, I mean, like if you look up all caps Pink Noise, you will find it.
Okay. And then I guess what's next for you then? More singles, or the singles done now? More music?
So I just finished EP number 2, and
Hmm.
I'm really excited about this one because Human Equals Kind is more about like the turning hardships and, the bitterness into a lesson and kind of being reborn from all of the pain. but the next EP is a lot darker, and it's a
Mhm.
continuation of this, and it's kind of like the remnants of all of that, like all of the aftermath of like, okay, like, I've started to walk my path. What does this look like? And for me, it's kind of being more vulnerable, diving into these like deep cuts for me. So it's definitely a lot darker, it's heavier, and it's even more versatile, I feel like. So if you guys were expecting a couple of heavy tracks, they're certainly inbound on this
All right,
next EP.
fair enough. That brings me to the end of my questions. I don't know if I missed anything you wanted to cover.
I don't think so.
Thank you for taking the time. I appreciate
These
it.
were all really, yeah, of course.
Good luck with the EP. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thank you
Thanks.
so much.